Imagine a place whispered about in hushed, fearful tones, a vast industrial complex humming with a sinister, unnatural quiet. This was the domain of a CEO renowned for his relentless pursuit of profit, a man who saw life not as sacred but as a mere commodity on a balance sheet. Yet, unsettling rumors began to circulate, whispers of an unexpected force, a name one would never associate with such a grim battleground, poised to challenge this empire of suffering. How could a fortress, built on such profound misery, ever see a flicker of hope, and who possessed the audacity to rewrite its bleak destiny? The truth was far more astonishing than anyone could have predicted. The factory farm, under the iron fist of its CEO, operated with a chilling, detached efficiency. It wasn't just a farm, it was a meticulously designed system where every input and output was calculated for maximum yield, with the sentient beings within treated as mere cogs in a relentless machine. The air itself seemed heavy with an unspoken despair, the metallic tang of industry mixed with something far more unsettling. The sheer scale of the operation was designed to overwhelm, to make any individual suffering seem insignificant in the face of such an industrial behemoth, a place where natural instincts were systematically suppressed in the name of productivity. The CEO, a figure rarely seen but whose influence was omnipresent, was driven by an insatiable hunger for growth and market dominance. To him, compassion was a weakness, a detraction from the bottom line. His public statements, when he deigned to make them, were couched in the language of economic necessity, of feeding a demanding world, conveniently omitting the ethical cost. He viewed any concern for animal welfare as sentimental nonsense, an impediment to the streamlined processes he had perfected over years, building a corporate culture that mirrored his own cold detachment from the lives he controlled. For the countless animals trapped within, life was an unending cycle of confinement and distress. There was no soft bedding, no gentle touch, no glimpse of the sun or a blade of grass. Their existence was stripped bare, reduced to the most basic biological functions, all geared towards the farm's singular, unyielding purpose. The psychological toll, the constant fear, and the absence of any form of kindness was arguably as damaging as the physical deprivations they endured. Every sound, every movement of a worker could signal further discomfort or a terrifying unknown, creating an environment of perpetual anxiety. Over the years, brave individuals, whistleblowers, and animal rights activists had attempted to expose the grim realities hidden behind the farm's high walls and locked gates. Some managed to capture fleeting, harrowing glimpses, but the CEO's corporation, with its vast legal resources and public relations machinery, was adept at discrediting them, at burying the stories, and at ensuring that the truth remained a shadowed, fragmented narrative. These attempts, though courageous, often seemed like pebbles thrown against a fortress, momentarily disturbing the surface but failing to breach the defenses. This created a pervasive sense of helplessness among those who suspected or knew fragments of the truth. The factory farm loomed large, a seemingly unassailable symbol of industrial agriculture's darkest side, with its CEO at the helm, a remote and untouchable figure. It felt as if this grim establishment was a permanent fixture, its brutal routines, destined to continue indefinitely, a chilling testament to what happens when profit is pursued without a shred of conscience. The local community, even if uneasy, often felt powerless against such an economic giant. Unbeknownst to the CEO and his formidable empire, a very different kind of individual was becoming aware of the whispers. Keanu Reeves, a man known more for his on-screen roles and quiet acts of generosity than for public crusades, stumbled upon information about this particular factory farm. Perhaps it was a news clipping, a hushed conversation overheard, or a plea from an activist group that found its way to him. It wasn't a dramatic, cinematic revelation, but a slow, dawning realization of an egregious wrong that resonated deeply with his innate empathy. His initial reaction wasn't one of public outrage or grandstanding. Instead, a profound sadness settled upon him, a quiet contemplation of the suffering he was now aware of. Keanu, known for his introspective nature, likely absorbed the information, letting the weight of it sink in, processing the sheer scale of the cruelty. It was the kind of injustice that gnawed at his conscience, an echo of the vulnerable characters he often portrayed, now manifesting in a stark, real-world scenario that demanded more than just passive observation. It's easy to imagine him then, using his resources discreetly, not to make a show, but to understand. He might have initiated quiet inquiries, sought out more detailed reports, or connected with those who had first-hand knowledge, all while maintaining a low profile. His aim wouldn't have been to immediately expose, but to first comprehend the full, horrifying scope of the operation, to gather the facts before even considering a course of action, his methodical nature guiding his approach to this deeply disturbing discovery. The stark contrast between his life, often spent in the somewhat surreal world of film sets and international premieres, and the brutal, hidden reality of this factory farm must have been jarring. Yet Keanu navigated these disparate worlds with an unwavering moral compass. The suffering he uncovered was not an abstract concept. It was a concrete reality for thousands of sentient beings, and this knowledge began to weigh heavily on him, a stark reminder of the darker undercurrents that can exist beneath the surface of everyday life. Meanwhile, the CEO and his corporation remained blissfully unaware of this burgeoning, silent scrutiny from such an unexpected quarter. They were accustomed to dealing with predictable adversaries, animal rights groups with limited funding, disgruntled former employees. The idea of a globally recognized, yet intensely private Hollywood star taking a personal interest in their specific operation would have been beyond their C-suite calculations, an improbable variable in their otherwise predictable world of profit and loss. And so, the seed of an idea, an intervention, began to germinate in Keanu Reeves's mind. It wasn't a sudden heroic impulse, but a growing unease, a moral imperative that made it impossible for him to simply know and do nothing. The question wasn't if he should act, but how. The wheels were turning, a quiet storm gathering as he contemplated a way to address this profound injustice, a way that would be both effective and true to his own nature. The tension began to build, not in the public eye, but within him. Then came the catalyst, that one piece of information or a single devastating image that tipped the scales from concern to an undeniable call to action. Perhaps it was irrefutable, evidence smuggled out by a desperate worker or a particularly heartbreaking account that cut through any remaining hesitation. Whatever it was, it solidified Keanu's resolve, transforming quiet contemplation into a silent, unshakable determination to bring about change, to somehow reach into that heart of darkness and pull those suffering towards the light. He likely wrestled with the decision, understanding the complexities and potential backlash of confronting such a powerful, entrenched interest. This wasn't a movie script where good always triumphed easily. It was the real world, with real-world consequences. But his deep-seated aversion to cruelty, his empathy for the voiceless, ultimately outweighed any personal or professional risks. The sheer scale of the animal's silent suffering became a burden he felt compelled to alleviate, a moral imperative he could no longer ignore. Ironically, around this time, the CEO might have made a public statement, perhaps at an industry conference, or in a financial report extolling the virtues of his efficient model, dismissing critics as uninformed idealists. This display of arrogance, this utter blindness to the ethical void at the heart of his enterprise, could have inadvertently fueled Keanu's conviction, serving as a stark reminder of why such an intervention was so desperately needed, a clear signal that this system would never reform itself. Keanu then began to formulate a plan, not with public pronouncements or media fanfare, but with quiet precision. He would leverage his influence and resources, not as a celebrity seeking a spotlight, but as a human being determined to right a terrible wrong. His strategy would be thoughtful, perhaps even unconventional, designed to achieve the most impactful outcome with the least collateral damage, focusing squarely on the welfare of the animals and the transformation of the facility itself. A veil of mystery surrounded his next moves. There were no leaks, no press releases, no grand declarations of intent. He operated with the same discretion that characterized much of his personal life, methodically laying the groundwork for what would be a seismic shift. This quiet maneuvering only amplified the eventual impact, as the world remained oblivious to the compassionate force moving stealthily towards a confrontation with deeply entrenched cruelty. The anticipation, for those few who might have sensed something, would have been immense. The public, and indeed the agricultural industry, knew Keanu was a private person, someone who chose his projects and his public engagements carefully. This made the thought of him engaging in such a direct, disruptive act even more implausible. The CEO would have never seen it coming. This deepening curiosity gap held the audience. They knew he was moved, they sensed he would act, but the sheer audacity of what he might do, and how he would achieve it against such a formidable opponent, remained a tantalizing unknown. Then, the news broke, sending shockwaves through the business world and animal welfare communities alike. The infamous factory farm had been sold. Speculation was rampant. Had the CEO cashed out? Was it another corporation taking over? The truth, when it was finally revealed, was stunning. The buyer was none other than Keanu Reeves. The disbelief was palpable. The actor, the quiet philanthropist, had just acquired one of an industry's most notorious symbols of animal suffering. It was a move no one had predicted. The CEO's reaction was likely a cocktail of disbelief, outrage, and ultimately, a bitter understanding of his defeat. The empire he had built, founded on the calculated exploitation of sentient beings, had been undone not by a rival corporation or government regulation, but by the compassionate determination of one man. The power he wielded, the profits he chased, were suddenly irrelevant. His legacy was now inextricably linked to the cruelty Keanu was about to dismantle. His carefully constructed world had crumbled. Keanu's first actions as the new owner were swift and decisive. All operations that caused distress were ordered to cease immediately. He didn't just sign papers. He brought in teams of veterinarians, animal behaviorists, and welfare experts. The immediate priority was not profit, not restructuring, but alleviating the suffering. It was an unprecedented move, signaling a complete paradigm shift for the facility. The focus shifted from production targets to providing urgent care and creating a safe haven. The challenge that lay before them was monumental. Years of neglect and systematic cruelty had left deep scars, both physical and psychological, on the animals. The facility itself was a testament to suffering, every inch designed for confinement and control, not comfort or care. Transforming such a place and healing its inhabitants would require immense resources, patience, and an unwavering commitment to the vision of a true sanctuary. It was a daunting task, but one Keanu embraced wholeheartedly. Yet, amidst the daunting task, small, powerful signs of hope began to emerge almost immediately. The sight of animals being gently moved from cramped, barren enclosures to areas with fresh straw, clean water, and space to move freely was profoundly moving. The first tentative steps into sunlight, the first taste of fresh food not delivered through automated systems, these were small victories that signaled the dawn of a new era for these long-suffering creatures. Each small act of kindness was a step away from their dark past. Keanu was not an absentee landlord. He was reportedly present, observing the initial rescue operations, consulting with the experts, ensuring that his vision for a place of healing and respect was being implemented from day one. His quiet presence was a source of inspiration to the teams working tirelessly on the ground, a constant reminder of the compassionate mission they had undertaken. He wasn't there for publicity, but to bear witness and to guide the transformation personally. The physical metamorphosis of the location began in earnest. Cold, sterile metal and concrete gave way to softer, natural materials. Barren enclosures were reconfigured into spacious pastures, enriched environments, and comfortable shelters designed not for maximum density, but for maximum well-being. The very air seemed to change, the oppressive weight lifting as the machinery of cruelty was dismantled and replaced with the infrastructure of kindness, a visual testament to the profound shift in purpose. Individual stories of recovery, though perhaps not widely publicized, would have been at the heart of this transformation. Animals who had known nothing but fear and confinement slowly began to show signs of trust, their natural behaviors tentatively re-emerging. A pig once terrified of human touch might eventually seek a gentle scratch. Birds once crammed into tiny cages might stretch their wings for the first time. Each small milestone was a victory, a testament to their resilience and the healing power of a safe environment. Keanu's vision for the property extended beyond simply providing refuge. He envisioned it as a place of learning and inspiration, a sanctuary that could educate the public about the realities of factory farming and the importance of compassionate, ethical treatment of all living beings. It would stand as a living example of how even the most broken places and the most traumatized souls could find healing and a new purpose when treated with dignity and respect. The impact of Keanu's audacious act rippled far beyond the sanctuary's fences. It sparked conversations globally about celebrity activism, corporate responsibility, and consumer choices. It inspired countless individuals to examine their own relationship with the food system and to support organizations working for animal welfare. His actions demonstrated that one person, motivated by conviction, could indeed challenge powerful systems and inspire a wave of positive change, making a tangible difference in the world. The contrast could not have been starker. The legacy of the former CEO, one built on maximizing profit at the expense of immense suffering, now stood as a dark footnote to the new story being written. In its place, Keanu was building a legacy of compassion, healing, and hope. It was a form of poetic justice, where the very site of past atrocities was being reclaimed and reborn as a symbol of redemption, a powerful rebuke to the cold calculus of cruelty. The sanctuary, once a place of unimaginable despair, was now blossoming into a beacon of hope, a testament to what is possible when empathy is translated into bold action. It served as a constant reminder that change is achievable, that even deeply entrenched systems of cruelty can be dismantled, and that kindness can, indeed, triumph. It became a symbol not just of animal rescue, but of the profound human capacity for good, nurtured by one man's quiet determination. This incredible journey, from a CEO's factory farm steeped in unimaginable animal suffering to a sanctuary of peace and healing, all because Keanu Reeves chose to intervene, is a powerful testament to the impact one compassionate individual can have. It underscores the profound truth that empathy, when coupled with decisive action, can dismantle fortresses of cruelty and sow seeds of hope where only despair once resided. This isn't just a feel-good story, it's a stark reminder that our choices, big or small, matter. What has this story inspired in you? Share this video to spread this message of hope and compassion, and consider supporting your local animal sanctuaries or organizations dedicated to animal welfare. Every act of kindness contributes to a larger wave of change. Let us know in the comments below how you believe we can collectively build a more compassionate world for all beings.